From Tech TV, welcome to Panorama. I'm your hostess, Ghada Hamadani. Strangers in their own homelands, descendants of an ancient warrior race that lived in Mesopotamia, now called the Middle East, and control a series of mighty empires. They embraced the teaching of Jesus long before most of Europe became Christian. Today, the very survival of Chaldean, Assyrian, Syriac as distinct ethno-cultural and religious group is in question, and their language, Aramaic, the mother tongue of Jesus and his disciples, is in danger of becoming extinct within the next 50 years. To discuss furthermore, I would like to welcome my guests, Pastor Derek Ramkisoon and Deacon Madloum Marougi, who has just arrived from Iraq. Welcome.
Good to be here today.
Thank you. Pastor Derek, could you please tell us a little bit about your background? I know you're a businessman, successful businessman, and a pastor.
Yes, I've been a businessman for about 20 years in the city of Mississauga, and our business is really helping people. My main office is in Mississauga, and I have an office in Calgary, and Edmonton, and Vancouver, and Montreal. Okay. And apart from that, I'm a volunteer pastor. I've been volunteering pastor for about 15 years. And the things of our city means a big deal to me. So I'm really interested in making our city a better place and a safer place to live in.
So how does your business help people?
We help people get jobs, get them back on their feet. We find jobs for people who can't find jobs. We place them in the right position. We get them the right place to live. And sometimes we help them furnish their apartment when they don't have enough money to really buy furniture and help them with groceries. So our business is called Kingdom Business, which means we build the kingdom of God through people. And as God gives us that business, He expects us to give back.
Absolutely.
And my job is to really give back to the people that really around us, that help us.
Okay, and there is an investment company as well, right?
Carrot Investment.
Yes, yeah.
Carrot Investment is where I have some real estate that I bought. And I own about 4 real estate properties in the city of Mississauga, and so I put them all in there, and we just want to grow that and see how we can help more people with what we're doing, because the Bible says to whom much is given, much is required. And I think the more we give is the more God gives back onto us, and we've seen that principle in our business and in our lives and in our homes, and we apply it and we try to teach others the same thing.
Okay, so do you see a conflict between being a businessman and a pastor?
Not at all. I think Jesus was a businessman because he was a carpenter.
Oh, yes.
Right? He built, that was his job. And the apostles were fishermen. Thomas was a tax collector, Matthew was a tax collector, and Luke was a physician. So I think it's all relevant that we should be supporting ourselves in the ministry that we do. And being a businessman and a pastor makes me really look at myself first before I look at others, because I want to make sure how I run my business is the way God would want me to run my business and not the way I want to run my business. So I do everything legit, the way business should be run. And when you run your business honestly and the way it should be run, your business will prosper.
So recently we've seen pastors seek transcend politics. Is that a legitimate goal?
Yes, I believe the Bible, the Bible is our clear picture. The word BIBLE stands for Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. And it's our handbook, it's our guide. And God says, we should be the head and not the tail. We should be above and not beneath. And I think when we run for position of authority, we can make good decisions for our country because we're seeking God's wisdom. And I believe everyone should be running for politics. I don't know where in the Bible it says don't mix the two together, because if it wasn't for Joseph, Egypt would not have been in the position it was in. If it wasn't for David and Daniel and all these mighty men of God, the country would not be in the position they're in. So I think it's very important that Christians run for position of authority.
So would you
politics.
consider running yourself?
I ran for mayor 4 years ago, and didn't work out for me. It's not what the Lord wanted at the time, and so I'm not ruling it out, but I'm waiting on God's timing for what He wants me to do.
Okay. Deacon Madloom Marougi. So beside being accountant and Khaledian deacon, you're the president of charity organization called Minority Assist Foundation and Support Center. Does this charity have any activities here in Canada?
Yes, we have, especially we have in Canada, and collecting donations from people here from Canada, and help our people, our displaced Iraqi Christians, displaced people in north of Iraq. So we have many activities there, just to buy food, like food baskets, and distributing to our displaced people, not just Christians but Yazidis too. And last visit I visited north of Iraq, the Kurdistan region, and we got support from Pastor Derek and another donors, and we bought like 83 food baskets, and distributing to the Yazidis and Christians, the poorest families in Shezi village.
So how many baskets, how many families you were able to help?
Yeah, we helped around 83 families there, the poorest families, that whatever we can do, we can buy for them in Shezi village.
And the basket, how long it lasts those families?
Yeah, the basket, each basket was include 4 kilo rice, 4 kilo sugar, 2 kilo tomato sauce, and 2 kilo salt, and 4 bottle of oil.
So how often you do that?
Yeah, whenever we can get or collect the donation from our donors, and I'm going 1 or 2 times, twice to Kurdistan region and buy for them.
Okay, Father Derek, what's your involvement with the Minority Assist?
When I met Medlum, for some reason I tend to attract to him for what he does, and he's a very humble person, the way he talks and the way he acts, and for some reason, we get to become friends. And he told me he was going back to Iraq and helping the people there, and I couldn't help but wanted to help, because I know what it's like to come from poor. I know what it's like to go with 1 meal a day and not having a meal at all. And so any opportunity we get to help is, I would jump on that and want to do it and take advantage of it. And when Medlum told me he was going back to Iraq, I said, I want to help you, and what I saw when he came back and some of the pictures that he showed me, it makes me want to do more.
Yes.
And so I'm committed now to doing more for his organization, to help the people that are there that has nothing. The Bible says the poor will always be with us. And the reason Jesus said that poor will always be with us is because the people don't want to give. If people give, we would not have this situation. But a lot of times people tend to keep the little they have, and that's all they have, the little. But when you give away the little you have, you will see how much more God will give you. Can I tell a story?
Yes, yeah.
When I was growing up as a little guy, I was 17 years old, and I grew up poor. But I remember one day I had $10 in my pocket. And I went to visit a family with 5 kids. The oldest was 12. And me and my pastor went, and the Lord told me, he said, you know what? When we finished talking to the family and praying with them, the Lord told me, he said, give the lady the money you get in your pocket, the $10 you get. God knew I had $10, because he mentioned the word $10. He said, give the lady the $10 you had. Without hesitation, I put my hand in my pocket and I give her that money. I planted a seed to show God that he can trust me to give away what I have. And in return, God keep pouring back. He give me the business, he give me, all the stuff that we have. Because like the rich young ruler, God said, go sell everything you have and give to the poor. If he sell everything he had and give to the poor would have gotten. And he would have got more. But he didn't give to the poor. He walked away a sad person. And that's what's happening in our culture today. We don't want to give. We keep for ourselves. And so I want to support the mission that he does, and as much as possible that I can do, I will do that, and I would ask others to step up.
Absolutely.
and do the same thing. Because one person said, you could build a pile and give it away. And the more you give away, is the bigger the pile becomes.
Okay, Deacon Madloom, when you were in Iraq, do you think, the basket of foods were enough for those people, or they had more needs?
No, I don't think so. That those food or those foods, the basket of food, it's will take around 15 to 20 days. But at least they will think that there are many people. They are thinking on them, and that's it. Some of them, they are working, part time with different fields, and that, especially with agriculture fields and so and so. And by the way, the Nineveh Plain and Sinjar for this summer, they had many agriculture crops, but being fired, being burned by many militias there. Especially there are many sleeping cells with ISIS, so they burned them. So I have some numbers. For example, in Sinjar, they burned 46,500 donam, 22 places of fire. In Tel Kev, which is our homeland, Christianity, 3,000 donams, 10 places of fire. In Hamdaniya, around 4,000 donam, and 28 places of fire. So those are, our people, they are waiting just for their food, because just that one, it's their income will be for all over the year. So in this case, they lost their income. So what would they do? So they are waiting for us just to collect some funds for them and going there, helping them. Especially now we have, on September the school will start, so they need their kids. They need some books, some pens, school supplies.
Have you thought of creating projects, creating jobs for those people there?
Thank you. It's a very good question. Most of our people, Yazidis and the Christians, they are living now under tents. And we have around 100,000 Iraqi displaced people, Christians, and 600,000 Yazidis. Most of them, they are living under tents since 2014, summer 14. So they don't have any income there because they are living in different places, and most of them, their income is agriculture, and there is nothing there. Even Sinjar, most of those fields being burned. So and most of Yazidis people, they don't have anything. Just they are waiting for Kurdistan region government and some organizations helping them.
Pastor Derek, do you think Christianity is under global threat due to persecution right now?
Absolutely. We've seen this all over the world. In Nigeria, what's happening, in Pakistan, in Iraq, all over the world, we're under threat. Even here in Canada, where we have freedom of religion and freedom to worship, we still can't do it publicly and can't do it the way, to express our freedom. So yes, it is. And I think if in the next 30, 40 years, who knows what would happen.
So interesting you mentioned Canada as well. So can you elaborate furthermore?
Well,
please.
Just a few weeks ago, we see a pastor get arrested for preaching in the streets.
Okay.
And if a pastor gets arrested for speaking in the streets, what's going to happen? Where can we speak? In our churches? Eventually you're going to tell us what to say in the churches, what we can say and what we can't say.
But don't we have, it's like the Freedom of Speech Act here?
You have the Freedom of Speech Act, but yet when we're speaking,
Yeah.
They're arresting us because we can't say certain things.
Other religions, do they have the freedom to speak
I
out?
think a lot of other religions has freedom above Christianity, and you can see it. I
Is
mean,
it something? Sorry, go ahead.
you could go in the park and you can see what's going on. You know, I went to a park close to my house, and they have it's out there. They're all doing
That's
it
true,
publicly.
yeah.
But when we do it, we're being arrested. We're being told not to. You know, and then we're called names, haters, and all these different things. But we're God-loving people. We love everybody.
That's true.
We just hate the sin, but we
That's
love
true.
the sinner.
So is it something recent? You know, it's like we're losing our freedom, or
Yeah.
is this,
Well, it's recent, I would say, because I haven't seen this 10 years ago or 5 years ago. I haven't seen that, because normally we go out in the streets and you see all the Christianity out in the streets witnessing to people, and now we're not even allowed to do that. We're not even allowed to sing in the street, and if you sing a song, they're going to tell you can't sing that song because you're promoting. We're under attack. Even here in Canada, in North America, we're under attack.
so in Christmas time, were you able to celebrate freely?
We celebrate, but you know, you can't go around saying Merry Christmas. You can't go around and say what you normally say. It's
Then what do you
Happy
say?
Holidays, people are saying to you these days, and but they forget the whole meaning of Christmas. Christ is in Christmas, and we're celebrating Christ's birth.
Yeah, so how do you feel when somebody doesn't say Merry Christmas to you? Say Happy Holidays.
Happy Holidays. I say Merry Christmas to them.
Oh, okay.
I don't care if they say Happy Holidays, but I say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, God bless you. I don't care, because that's what I believe and that's what I'm going to say, but I'm not going to let somebody tell me what to say and what not to say.
So in your opinion, why the international society is silent about the persecutions?
You know, that's a good question. That's an excellent question. I asked myself that question numerous times. Why is all these things going on and nobody's doing anything about it? You know, but I don't know if I can say it on TV.
We try.
Why they're, but I think we're being controlled by the press, by the media, we're controlled by the United Nations is telling us what we can do and what we can't do, and you know, which is a big blunder to me. I mean, I can tell everybody I really don't care for the United Nations at all, but you know, they're telling us what we can do and what we can't do, and I think they're the one that's not giving the press the information that the people need to know what's going on. They're choosing what to put on TV and what not to put on TV, and by this, people don't know what's going on, and we don't know how to pray because we don't see. We're seeing one side, but we're not seeing the other side. And I think down the road, in a few more years from now, we're never going to see any news about anything that's happening with Christians throughout the world.
So do you think United Nations lost their dignity and integrity?
Absolutely. A long time ago. And I have zero respect or tolerance for them. I really don't. I don't even know why we're back in the United Nations. I think we dropped, we were not a member, and so we went back, and they're telling us what to do and what not to do. And I don't really care for that at all. And I think a lot of people would agree with me.
Mr. Madloum, in the name of human rights, you yourself and we actually receive many complaints about some perpetrators and scammers who are still actually misusing the Yazidis and the Christian crisis here in Canada. So would you please, give us your comment on that?
Okay. You know what? At the end of 2014 and beginning 2015, we got around 3 MPs from here, from Canada, and another organizations from human rights. We went to Kurdistan region government, and we visited many camps of Iraqi displaced people, the Christians and Yazidis and Kakayan and even Arabs. So we visited them and we talked to them, and then later it was around 2-3 times, and later we heard that one organization rescued around 300 to 400 Christians girls and Yazidis girls, but their parents, they were asking me about those girls. Where are they? What's their names? Just to see if they are their relative or not. But we couldn't get any answer from that human rights.
So you contacted them and they were
Yeah, we
unable to-
contacted them and there's no answer. Just we saw them on the TV and and other channels that they rescued those girls and without nothing.
So what was the reaction of the Yazidi representative and Christian representative back in Iraq and Kurdistan and here in Canada when you got the news?
I visited the general manager of Yazidis and the Christians there in Erbil and talked to them. They told me that nobody rescued any girl, just from the Prime Minister, Mr. Nechirvan Barzani, that he was the Prime Minister, and he was paying their funds for rescue them.
So in this case, it's like we're gonna ask the audience to donate, it's like for the charities. How would the audience, can distinguish whether this is a scam or not? Because it's like when people comes to them, they and people, it's like with good heart, they donate. You show them videos, pictures. And sometimes, it's like people, they fall for it. So what's your advice? How would people can distinguish and choose the right charity?
I think donors are very careful who they donate to. But I think what they need to do is to really pray about the situation and look at what the organization does with the funds that come in. If the funds are going to help people, absolutely, let's do that. Let's help these people. But a lot of times, you're right, people donate and they want to know where the money is going. Is it going to, for me, I'm a volunteer.
Yeah.
So every penny that comes into me, to my organization, I don't keep anything because I have a business and my business pays my salary. Everything that comes into us, we send it back out. And we make sure that those donors that sending their money to us, their seed are planted on good soil. So I give it to good organization that would use that funds to help people.
Actually, this is an excellent point, So when somebody lives on the charities or on their organizations, we have to question that before, take any steps, right? Do you agree with that, Mr. Madlum?
Yes, yeah, you know what? And, let me tell you about our people there. They are living under tents since 2014. So this is 4 or 5 years. Now the old people and the children, they are dying. Why? Because there is no food, less medicine, and less clothes. So that's why we are asking, donors just to donate, to our charity to help us to go and help those people that are in need.
So, in your opinion, what's the solution for this crisis?
The solution, it's just to return back each one to his home, to his village, to his job, to his school, to his university.
Without protection?
No, we have to ask for protection. And now they couldn't go. Especially in, now Nineveh plain, they divided by 2 parts. One, the part of, under Peshmerga, under Kurdistan region government control, and the other one under, Iraqi government and Al-Hashd al-Sha'bi control. So whoever is his village under Peshmerga's control, they are going there, returning back to their school, to their home, to their business. But under, the Iraqi government or Mosul government, nobody is going back, returning back because there is no security there.
Okay, before we start recording, you mentioned that there is a violation against the graveyard, Christian graveyard. So can you tell us what happened exactly and where was the incident?
Yeah, there are some individual cases that's happening. in north of Iraq and Kurdistan region that against the Christians and against Kakayan, against, you know, and some of them, you know, they got shovel and get all the graves from the church, and you know, they took it at they cleaned at from the graves to their benefits.
So what was the government reaction against that?
You know, our people, they went to the government and they got lawyer, but we don't know the result of that, you know, the court. We don't know yet.
Pastor Derek, do you think one day the world would be a place where the light gets in?
I hope so, but I don't think so. I can't see it happening. The world is a dark place. We have evil taking over. But I believe one day will come, not that everybody would see the light, but the light will come one day. But a lot of people will miss that light.
Okay. Last word for Mr. Madloum before we close.
You know, we are hoping that our people, the displaced people, Christians and Yazidis, Kakayan, even Arab, that they return back to their homes, to their schools, and everybody get his job there, and you know, with security.
Pastor Derek, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think the situation that we see in Iraq needs to be addressed. And some organization or somebody has to be the voice of the people that are being displaced, as Madloum said, out of their country. I don't think they're lazy. I just think when you're living in camps and you're living in a situation where you can't do too much, you can't do it too much. It's not that if we provide jobs for them that, you know, they're going to refuse to work. They want to work. People I think need to want to work and get out of their situation they're in, but there is no jobs. So what they're looking for is us to be God's hands and feet and eyes extended to them, so that we can help them. Not give them so much, you know, a handout, but teach them how to fish. And I think if we teach them how to fish, they will go out and fish. But there is no fish where they're at. There is no farming, as he said. You know, the places are being burnt down. The fields are being burnt. So there's nothing they can do. But they're depending on us. They're looking for us. And Jesus said, you know, when you see me hungry, you feed me. When you see me naked, you give me clothes. When you see me with nothing, nowhere to live, you took me in. Inasmuch as you do it for the least of these, you're doing it unto me. I believe that we have. And if we have, we should give to help. Because one day we're going to stand before God and give an account for ourselves. And I believe God is going to ask us two questions. What did you do with me? And what did you do with what I give you? And if you don't have two good answers, you're not going to get into the place that you're hoping to get into when you get to heaven. But I believe that with all my heart, we should step up and help these people. Because God is looking to us to help them. He gave us. And he said, now go and do likewise. Help each other. And don't worry about where it's going. I mean, you need to worry about where it's going, but trust that it will go into the right place to feed these people. Because the people that are giving are not the ones who are going to be judged. It's the people that don't handle it properly going to be judged. And so I would encourage people to step up and give. Because you know what? If I was in that position back there, I would want somebody to help me. And I'm pleading on behalf of those people to help, to step up and help. Because they're looking to us to be their hands, to be their voice, to be their eyes, to be their feet. They can't do much, but we can do a lot. Let's step up and let's start doing what God called us to do.
Okay, thank you. So we say, knowing is not enough. We must apply. Wishing is not enough. We must do. So please, we ask the audience, you know, to help the charities. And I will give you the word, you know, to say where to donate. Mr. Madloom?
So we are asking our donors, our people, whoever is watching this channel, just to donate to our charity, Minority Assist Foundation. And you know, the address is showing in the TV. And thank you very much for everything.
Okay, thank you very much, Pastor Derek. Thank you very much, Mr. Madloom.
Thank you for having us today.
Thank you. Until next time, have a good night.